Okay, hello everyone who's just joined us. This is midway through a conversation we will have before we started recording. I figured I'd hit record just to make sure we got this on tape. So we were sure, I'll shame myself. Just to clarify, this isn't actually based on my browser history, but I made a joke about if I die, I need one of you to wipe all the Futanari porn from my PC. That was a joke, to clarify.
I don't think that's that much of a joke. Many a true word has been said in jest.
Never, he didn't specifically say Futanari, he just said chuck all my devices into the sea. Or
Chuck all the devices into the sea, and then I said it'll be funny if we just leave it for archaeologists. Actually, Grace said that bit, to be fair.
Yeah.
It'd be funny
Thank
leaving
you.
it for archaeologists. I made a joke about how we could convince archaeologists that Futanari were real in the 2000s. And I think Nick, you at some point said this is the oldest depiction of Futanari, and then I thought, let's go to Google and find out what the oldest depiction of Futanari is.
So what have you found?
I'm on Wikipedia now.
Oh, okay. A reliable source.
Historic origins, Japanese folk religion.
Of course it is.
Created diverse fantasies related to sexual characteristics. Let's just check that source. No, that's in German. I can't read that source. They used to worship deities such as the Dosogen, which were a type of deity. I don't have an actual date on this. It's just Japanese folk religion.
I think this is another podcast in itself.
History of weird kinks.
Yeah, history of fetishes.
Not that there's anything wrong with Futanari, just to get that in.
No, of course not.
Well, how about we go simpler? When did the term Futanari first come about? Because Futanari is the Japanese term for this particular thing.
There's images on Wikipedia.
Of course
There's
there is.
always images.
It was invented in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Fucking
Yeah.
hell.
Oh no, sorry, late 80s. Yeah, late 80s.
Late 80s.
Yeah.
So, is it going to be similar to the origin story of ABO? Like somebody drew a picture of a woman with a massive penis, and there's loads of other people went, yes, I'm into that.
It was actually invented by Dr. David Futanari, who came up
Shut
with
up.
No, I'm taking the piss. It was Americans brought over transgender pornography, which then inspired artists, including someone called Kitamimaki K, who was one of the first artists to draw it.
Oh, and he was like, right, this is great and all, but the tits and the dicks need to be bigger.
I think so.
Yeah,
For fuck's sake.
a lot
Please
bigger.
tell me it was a woodcut like a Hokuzai.
Oh, that'd be great. But no, it
Got the
doesn't seem so.
fisherman's wife, and then next to it, matey's Futanari. Evangelion.
So one of the anime citers making it popular is one I've actually watched called Kempfer.
Okay.
Grace, have you seen that?
No.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
I've heard the name, and I don't know where I've heard the name from.
It's a very funny one. Okay, right, we're going down the sea also. Oh, wow, okay, there's an ancient Greek one.
Oh, thank God. There's an ancient Greek one. I know that there was a god.
Agdistis is an ancient Greek who has both male and female reproductive organs
Okay.
and was part of Zeus's origin story.
Oh, it would be Zeus.
Oh no,
wouldn't
it's one of Zeus's kids. Sorry.
It would be to do with Zeus.
Agdistis is a god with both, apparently.
Okay, I knew that there was one in Greek, but I thought it was like a bloke who had tits, vagina, and a cock.
I think that's who this is.
I thought his name began with something began with H. I know that a friend of my brother's did it as a part of their art project. I don't know. My memory fails me.
Well, the idea apparently goes back to the mid-6th century.
Ah, okay.
Sorry, mid-6th century BC. So almost 3,000 years.
Kinks.
Before the fun ended.
Before the fun ended.
Kinks as
Before
old as
people
time.
found God.
Wow, Grace.
I'm only joking, Jesus Christ. Especially to him. guy. Lovely guy. All right.
I'm finding
moving
weird.
on.
Yeah, we should get out of here before I mention the medical term clitoromegaly.
Does that just mean like
Mega clit.
mega clit?
Or, yeah, clitoromegaly or macroclitoris.
Macro clitoris.
Yeah,
When you've got an absolute conker, yeah?
yeah. One that's
Crikey.
it's so big it looks like it could be a very tiny PP.
Oh, okay.
Ah, okay. Shut up.
Yeah.
So now we know.
There's another picture on Wikipedia if you want to find that.
Oh, you're getting all the pictures today. You lucky.
Hang on, we'll get off this topic soon. I just want to go to the second link here, the history of Futanari, because that probably will have been researched a bit better.
Surprised you weren't on that earlier for this
Well,
information.
Wikipedia is always the most reliable source, but it was vague, so I figured... Okay, so in Japan it goes back to the Heian period, which is the 12th century.
Okay.
A series of scrolls called the Yamai Inosushi, a series of ancient scrolls which has pictures of Futanari in there.
Oh,
It also has a series of medical conditions and entries on treatment, so it's both a medical journal and smut, I think.
Wow. Okay. So
don't get those two mixed up.
if you
Yeah.
if you woke up one morning and will look down at yourself and was like, "Oh, I've got a dick now," there were medical treatments for that kind of thing in ancient Japan.
No, there wasn't. There was just porn. It was like, this isn't helpful. Slam ancient stroll back down. It's like, none of the medical stuff actually has a guide for this.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a guide. Would you like to see the first image?
Yeah, go on then.
I don't know why, but
Let's educate.
since you said the word guide, the words Hitchhiker's Guide to Futanari popped into my head.
If that fic isn't out there, I'd love to see it be written
Where are you posting it?
into general.
Let's have a look. Oh, General.
I can't help but notice in our Discord, so Nick's darling girlfriend Sophie is seeing all the things we're posting and going, what?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's just a standard Google search you've posted there, James.
There is the history of Futanari.
Yeah, there's a 12th century Japanese wood carving there. Sorry, it's a scroll, excuse me. And there's some much weirder images further down.
There is, yes. Like, extremely... that looks like vintage hentai.
I think so. I'm just trying to find out when it was made. I'm definitely overthinking this.
So there's one called Your Reward is Anal.
Yeah.
Check out the feet on the characters.
Oh, let's look at the... Oh,
feet.
God!
Yeah, they're like, wow.
That is... I don't think the author put much thought into those feet.
No, absolutely not.
Jesus Christ.
I guess that's not what
That's-
you're focusing on.
Yeah.
I think everything's a bit
Skew,
disjointed.
a bit skew whiff.
Oh, there's this... To be fair, the one directly below, titled The Gothic Lady I Fell For at First Sight, a Futanari, that is some weird proportions as well, because like her hips are like way to the side.
Look, I'm going to stop analysing these. I don't know about you.
Yep.
Are we reading too much into this?
I think it's
We are.
time to leave.
We've seen everything.
What's that Louis
haven't we?
Theroux thing?
Been here long enough.
I'm not sure what I'd seen, but I knew it was time for me to leave.
Right, excellent.
Welcome to the shipping forecast, everyone. I'm James. Joining me is Nick
Hi.
and Grace.
Hello.
We're not talking about this today. We're talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender.
That was a hell of a cold open, though.
That was absolutely a hell of a cold open. Maybe we should do a history podcast at some point.
Yeah,
Who knows?
the history of kinks. If we ever get time
History of kinks.
in our busy schedule.
Exactly.
I am not researching kinks in a house with other people.
I feel like it would, knowing our personalities, it would be me doing like a research document and bringing it to you both and being like, hey, here's what I learned today.
Oh, okay, we get it. Your back is sore from carrying the other two of us.
Doing all the production stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. I know.
I'm the only one with a research degree.
Yeah,
Yeah, fair enough.
we make things for a living. You do
You
not.
sure do. I make myself cry for a living.
Well, I sell things for a living. I don't really make them. I make things for fun. No, I don't even make things for fun. I mend things for fun.
All right.
We are not the same.
We're all, the three of us are very different.
Yes.
Okay, let's get us off this. Grace, are you enjoying Breath of the Wild? Not Breath of the Wild, Tears from the Kingdom.
Well, it's all right. It's essentially the second one, isn't it?
Yeah. Are you enjoying
Yes, I am.
Breath of the Wild 2 Electric Boogaloo?
I am.
Is Zelda crying for you yet? I'm assuming it's a similar premise.
She is. I'm not going to spoil anything.
I do
Because
have
it
one
literally
question
came out a few
that's-
days
yeah.
ago.
Well, this will be going up in 2 weeks, so
Yeah, still.
okay.
So it was quite funny.
Hang on, I feel like Grace was going to
We're
say
talking
something.
about.
Oh.
We're talking about Avatar. To be fair,
That's
we should
true.
talk about our subject.
Okay, I do have one question. Can you bring when you bring Sidon with you? Do you get to like romance him?
Ah,
I don't think I would be able to romance Sidon even if I could bring him with me, and I don't think I can bring him
Oh,
with me.
I thought it looked like you could bring him along in the trailers.
I'm not sure what I saw.
Okay, that's a shame. I was hoping you could bring him along, and possibly that he's got like a romance or friendship meter you can build up. That seems like a smart addition to the game.
yeah, that'd be nice.
I got out of the tutorial with only a skirt on, hair down, titties out, and I beelined all the way to the Zora domain, only to have my heart broken.
Oh,
And so I have left the Zora domain, and anyone who knows. No one's died. I'm just upset.
okay. He's not there. He's gone.
Oh.
He's either gone or he's...
I would love it if they just. It's all this time of like, where is Sidon? And whoever you talk to is like, no, he's busy. The voice actor wanted too much money, so we've just not cast him.
Yeah.
No, there is a funny like thing about the first game where it's just like a flashback to the first one where, well, not like a flashback, but they believed that something. They thought when you fought Ruta with Sidon, where you hop on his back
Mm-hmm.
and like fight the monster, that was iconic enough to turn it into a statue. So you walk in, and there is like a statue of
you
Prince
riding
Sidon.
Prince Sidon.
Yeah, and he's just like bursting out the waves, and then there's you on his back, and it's just like,
I see.
that's the only bit I'm happy to spoil.
You know that one Greek statue of Theseus and the Minotaur?
Maybe.
The really gay one.
That doesn't narrow
God,
it down.
okay.
No.
No,
Really? Okay, let me find that.
there's a lot of gay ones.
The
but
really
yeah, I think
gay one.
I think I know the one you mean.
Where he's cowgirling on the Minotaur.
Yeah.
I imagine it's like that, but you and Prince Sidon.
No.
Fair.
You're just on his back, holding onto his shoulders like your life depends on it.
Let me post this for your benefit, and then we'll move back on to...
That sounded oddly threatening. When
It's
you
more
said
like we should move on after this. But that one,
Okay, where have you posted this?
general.
that. That's worse than I remember it.
Yeah,
Oh, I see.
that's what I mean by the really gay one.
The Minotaur is in Theseus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a minute, I thought maybe he wasn't, and Theseus was holding onto the bit that should have been.
No, I think that's a spear, and then he's got his hand on his thigh.
Are you sure?
I don't know.
Look at it.
I'm gonna stop looking
Are
at it.
you sure? Because that does not. That.
I mean, it is curved, so...
Look at the end of it.
Oh, right. So, Avatar Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Nick,
Brain bleached.
have you watched any since we last talked?
No,
Cool.
I haven't.
Fuck's sake.
Okay. So, this week just gone, I am currently starting 2 weeks of my annual leave.
Mm-hmm.
It couldn't have come any quicker. So basically, I was running around trying to get everything sort of squared away before my 2 weeks off. The week before, I was doing 12-hour days and then afterwards teaching James to drive.
Yes.
So yeah, I had
Thank you.
I had
That's
I
a
had too
story I
much
can
on.
tell.
Yeah.
So, Nick has been teaching me to drive very much appreciate it. As a token of my appreciation, I've been buying Nick dinner every evening.
Yeah, you did, didn't you? That was nice. Yeah.
I told my mother this when I got home, and she said, "No, James, you should be taking him to Weatherspoons."
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So I took Nick out for the first day. It was £35 for the two. Not the first day. Not it was.
You said I thought you
You
heard
did
date.
say
It was a
I
date,
heard
not a
date as
date.
well.
Sorry, Sophie, this isn't happening.
What do you mean, sorry?
I figured, I don't know, maybe Sophie ships us. Who knows?
I don't think she does.
Okay.
Girlfriend of Nick ships her boyfriend with a random guy.
What do you mean a random guy?
She's in our Discord,
Very
Grace.
That is the epitome of not random anymore.
So-
You're a stranger until you're in the same Discord.
Yeah, yeah.
Me and Nick have been friends for a long time. I'm not some
No,
random.
no. All right. Back to your story.
Cool. I spent about £35 on the two of us for dinner with drinks. Fairly reasonable, I thought. Definitely cheaper than actual driving lessons. And my mum was like, "No, take him to Weatherspoons. You can get it under a tenner for the two of you."
I mean, I just want to clarify. I didn't. So, like Weatherspoons would have done, you know.
I feel like taking someone you owe a favour to the cheapest meal option possible is kind of a low blow.
I know, but like, I wouldn't have been offended. It'd just be like, oh yeah, it'd go out for a nice meal in a slightly grotty pub. It just is what it is. But like, I did get home and you told me that, and I'm like, why is your mum pissed off for money that you're spending?
Yeah.
It's not even.
It is also my money, incidentally.
It's not even your mum's money.
Weird situation.
Oh.
Okay,
Probably just telling you of a bargain, but yeah, I understand.
it sure seemed weird. But anyway, we need Avatar banter. Grace, help me out.
Avatar banter.
Yeah.
What do we know of what's coming out? Because there's multiple things that's coming out. The people, Mike and Brian, they do not endorse the direction the live action one is
I'd
going
forgotten
in.
about that. Yeah.
So they sort of like left it. I think it was. Is it Netflix? Might be
Yeah,
Netflix.
Netflix
It's
is doing the
carrying
live
on.
action one.
Are carrying on with it anyway, and the characters are aged up, so they're expecting it to be a bit more gritty and slightly adult than the
It's a shame.
cartoon.
I'd forgotten about that, and it's kind of a shame because there was some really good casting news about that the other day. They're
yeah.
casting Daniel Day Kim, I think his name is, as Fire Lord Ozai.
Mm-hmm.
Nick will know that name as Johnny Gat from Saints Row 2.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah. He's a really good actor,
Yeah.
and I think he'll nail Fire Lord Ozai. He's done other things as well. I just know him as Johnny Gat.
I mean, just because the movie was gritty and aged up doesn't mean it'll flop as bad as that,
That's true.
because that was monumentally shit. But no, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But I know that there's been talk of the creators of Avatar going off and getting their own studio to make another cartoon, and that's where the animation of the gang when they're adults
Yes.
is going to be done, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's by them,
Yeah.
and it looks good.
Yes, that's where that poster came from. So yeah, there's that. Yay!
Okay. Yeah, I'm vaguely hyped for that.
But yeah, more hype for that than the live action. You'd have thought the live action would be done by now, because they announced it ages ago.
I guess.
I know that there was a pandemic, but like, they surely have time now.
I guess. It's going to be hit by the writers' strike, isn't it?
But it's already been written.
Well, they're only just doing casting.
Well, you write it and then you cast it, surely.
Oh, that's true. I don't know. I feel like writing's one of those
Maybe.
processes that just keeps happening, to be honest.
No, none of us are writers.
That's
so we
true.
wouldn't know,
Very
but-
true. Unlike the people we're going to be talking about today. Boom, segue.
Yay!
Thank you.
Segue.
Nice. So brief timeout. We didn't actually talk about Turn Order yet.
No, we didn't.
We got so distracted by Futanari.
It happens.
Yeah,
Weapon
it
focus.
happens. So, my fic is about... It's a Sokka Zuko fic. It is a romance, and it goes into the realistic nature of these teens who've grown up in war without decent parents and without a solid education system, having no real sex ed,
Okay.
and the comedy in which that produces.
Trying to work it out for
Oh,
themselves.
comedy in which that produces. You made the beginning of that sound incredibly deep and harrowing.
I couldn't think of a better way
And then
to
you
phrase.
went, and now they're gonna goof around because they don't know how sex works. And I'm just like, oh, what?
There's a lot to
I
it.
got whiplash.
Oh dear.
Carry on.
That's it. That's all I really want to tell you is before we read into it.
Okay.
Okay.
It's sort of comedy. It's kind of smutty.
Okay.
Yeah. Tell me about yours.
Yeah, you first, Chris.
Oh, okay. Well, I know what Nick's reading because it's the Mothman one. Because James was literally telling me just earlier, it's like, thank God you weren't writing up the Mothman one because that's what Nick's doing. And I was like, ugh. Yeah, thank God. Funnily enough, it turns out we're all doing Zucker.
Yeah, we are.
Damn it.
We all.
Oops,
Tra-
all
of
Zucker.
all the characters there, all the lovely detailed, intricate characters there are, and relationships in Avatar, and we have all gone for the besties, Zuko and Sokka. And I'm glad that the fanfiction agree. But yeah, I've picked Zuko the Blue Spirit by preciousbunnynoiz, and it is the coffee shop /secret agent versus evil scientist one.
Is that the one we covered in part 1?
We made reference to it, but we didn't cover it completely.
No, it's fine. If it's the same one, I know a little bit about it. That's good.
It's the one you found amusing because of the line Azula said about all the pussy
Yes,
and Barsing Say.
perfect. Okay. And Nick, you're
Yeah,
reading
this
the
one's
owl
quite
one.
funny all the way through.
Yeah, I'm reading the Mothman one. It's a meet cute.
Hmm.
Well, of sorts, as you'll see.
Okay.
I have read it. And I know what you mean by sort of.
Yeah.
Because there are bits in it that are definitely not cute.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, the manner in which they meet isn't, but you'll find out about that.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think I might keep this in this time because I feel like this is a good intro as like a summary of what's coming up.
Okay.
Okay.
Any preference on who goes first?
I think, unless one of you has got a more adorable fic, I think mine would be good to go last.
The only reason I think Nick shouldn't go last is because I know that there are some very scary facts about moths that may unsettle me.
Okay.
And I want a palate cleanser.
Wow, okay.
So mine is decidedly not a palate cleanser.
Okay.
Mine is just silly and cute all the way through, so maybe mine
Okay.
should be the palate
Grace,
cleanser.
you take us home. I'll go middle. Nick, you can start us off.
Yeah, if you want me to.
Okay.
Okay, with that in mind, Nick, what have you been reading?
Okay, so I have been reading Baby, You Light Up My World Like Nobody Else by...
I've gotta sing that, bro.
Yeah, I know, it's a One Direction lyric, isn't it?
Nick, sing it. I don't know One Direction, so you're just going to have to...
Yeah. Baby, you light up my world like nobody else.
Oh, it's that
Yeah, it's that one. It is that
I didn't
one.
know that was One Direction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
God, you lived under a rock in your teenage years, didn't you? You lived under a Nightwish
I
rock.
think One Direction were late teens for me.
Yeah.
When did One Direction happen? I think I was at uni by then, to be honest.
I'd expected you to hear it every day. At uni.
One Direction
Not having
formed in
lessons or
2010,
commitments.
so I've been in uni to like late uni for most of their career.
Yeah.
So I was still living under a Nightwish rock.
This is it, yeah. This would have been firmly within my the only music worth listening to is prog rock phase.
Nick, you haven't left that phase.
I have. I listen to all sorts of music. It's just none of it's modern.
Okay.
Like there's sort of like prog rock, space rock, glam rock. There's folk music, sea shanties, electro, sort of 90s dance, that sort of thing. I listen to all sorts.
Well, when that came out, I was just about faking my way into the club, so... Hot shit.
We incriminate ourselves every episode.
We absolutely do.
They can't do me, I'm too old now. What are they going to do?
I mean, we faked our way in too. It's just...
Yeah.
I think, Nick, you faked your way in with my driving license. At least once.
Yeah, I think I probably did, because we did look relatively similar when you didn't have a beard and when I had hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
I was going to say, because Nick, you've looked 40 for a long time.
I have, you're right, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Jim did used to look similar if you squinted from about 10 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And on a black and white picture, when I had 2 forms of ID, it kind of worked.
Yeah, that's it.
Bloody hell.
Okay, so this is Baby You Light Up My World Like Nobody Else by Sifu_hotdam.
Yeah, Sifu hot damn.
And this is basically a Zuko fic, but where Zuko is 5'5" tall, hawk moth human hybrid.
That's oddly specific.
So yeah, he's like
It needs
that's
to
it.
be...
Yeah, he's like human sized. He's got relatively human proportions, but he's got like 4 arms, and he's got the wings, and he's got the weird proboscis thing, which means he can't eat solid foods, and the big golden eyes and stuff. Like moths and shit are adorable. I do like moths. Okay, so I'd just like to go through some of these tags. And the additional tags start off with Mothman Zuko AU. I said what I said. Technically a meet cute in that Sokka hits Zuko with his car. It's not too bad, but non-graphic wilderness first aid happens. So yeah, rated T for situationally warranted swearing and mild horny thoughts.
Mildly horny thoughts.
Mildly horny thoughts. You will see what we mean. I will try and be as brief as possible, because I wasn't expecting to find something of this nature, but you go through and you sort of start to realise, oh my god, this is adorable, which is what I thought. So yeah.
Okay.
A quick rundown of the plot. Sokka he's driving home at night from Katara and Aang's house, because they've sort of moved out, they've settled down. They're doing really well. They've got the shit together. They've got a whole life planned out for them, and Sokka hasn't really. He moved to the city to be closer to his job, but of course then COVID happened and he didn't need to go to his job anymore. So he's been alone for quite a long time, and he's his mind's wandering. He stayed a bit too late, so he's driving home. His mind's wandering, and then all of a sudden something clips the front of his truck with a massive thump, followed by what sounds like a loud expletive. So it's like, ah shit, I've just hit somebody. So, being the good guy that he is, he pulls over and he's noticing a figure staggering off into the woods. So he grabs his first aid, tries to sort of collar them. It's like, hey, I'm really sorry, I didn't see you there at all. Are you okay? Well, duh, you're obviously not okay. I just hit you with my fucking car. Can I give you a ride to the hospital or something? But of course, they still don't turn round. He notices then that things might not be as they seem. They seem to be wearing some kind of stripy trench coat from the back, in the dark, away from the truck's headlights. So he goes after him again, just sort of gently puts the hand on the shoulder, tries to turn this guy round. At which point, a shrill tea kettle-like noise erupts from the figure, and Sokka realises several things. First, they're definitely not entirely human. Second, they look absolutely terrified. And third, their pants are vibrating.
What?
So
You can probably buy vibrating pants, to be honest.
So basically, we have found our Mothman.
Mm-hmm.
Enter Mothman.
If I just scroll down to the notes, it tells you how everything works. I'll just read this verbatim if I can. Zuko's junk screaming is extrapolated from an actual anti-bat hawk moth defense system. They rub their genital claspers together in a way that produces ultrasound, which signal jams bat sonar.
Oh, that's clever.
So, of course, Zuko is terrified and exhausted.
Zuko's junk is telling people to fuck off.
Yeah, basically, that's it. He's trying to jam whatever sonar of whatever predator might be looking for him.
Do you reckon that's...
Does that mean there's a load of bats just crashing into things around him?
Because he's wiggling his dick about?
Yeah, there might be.
Oh my...
See, I was just imagining The Hunt for Red October, only it's just Sean Connery doing the helicopter to stop himself being detected. You can't find me.
Oh, That
You can't find me, Alec Baldwin. I'm doing the helicopter with my genitals.
Why he lasted so long as James Bond and the Russians just couldn't pick him up. I'm jamming the signal. Sorry, carry on.
I think there's an AU in here where moth people make really, really good submarine crew.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's dark, it's dank, and they can use things. They can use their bodies to jam sonar. It's fantastic.
Enlist today.
If any authors are listening and want a challenge, hunt for Red October, Mothman AU.
Yes,
please.
Oh, I was calling out to the Mothmen to enlist, but all right.
Okay, so basically, as it goes, he manages to get this injured, half moth, half human, calmed down and sat against a tree, and he takes stuff out of the first aid kit, putting pressure on the wound like he should to get the blood to clot. He's fretting a bit and worrying because, he's hit this fucking Mothman with his car. So, he's pressing down on the wound, and he something occurs to him. He says, wait, dumb question, but you're like blood or whatever clots, right? And Zuko's just like, yeah, my blood or whatever clot's fine. He's sounds pretty annoyed at this point.
Ever snarky, even after being hit by a car.
That's it, ever snarky. However, it turns out that he's got quite a sexy voice. And then
that adds up.
Sokka's like tending to him, sort of leans back, and then realizes that he's rather pretty in an unsettling sort of way. Because he's mostly human-like. He's got dark, shaggy hair, framing shimmering golden eyes that are slightly too large to belong to a person. They've got one long white antenna extending from the right side of their forehead where an eyebrow might normally be, but they're missing the left antenna, though.
Oh, no.
Because they've also got like a big discoloured scar around the left eye. So I'm not going to go through the entire plot of this fic because I urge you, dear listener, to go out and read it because it's fucking adorable in places. But it turns out that the reason why Sokka has hit Zuko with his truck is because he's terrible at night landings, because he can't navigate proper without an antenna.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
So, that's it. Finally, they exchange names. Name Sokka, what's yours? Yeah, it's Zuko. Sokka is completely enamoured with this 5'5" tall hybrid hawk moth.
See, I'm just wondering, this implies there is a Mothman Fire Lord out there.
Possibly so.
It has. I'm just reading a bit of it, and it has hinted that there's like a social structure.
I have spotted the Blackberry Bramble. Kind of like Moth Tinder.
There is, yes. It's so basically a lot of moths communicate with pheromones. Mm-hmm. It turns out that in this universe they are pretty crass and they're not subtle about when they're banging.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, birds really are.
That's it. Zuko tries not to engage in scenting with them, as he puts it.
Oh.
which is fair enough. However, it turns out that sort of Zuko's kind of a little bit into Sokka as well. He says he'd really just barely bumped into his leg with the edge of his truck, so he wasn't that injured. And Zuko would have said as much, but Sokka was so embarrassed about it, and it was just so adorable.
That's funny. Tis but a scratch, but I'm going to let this.
Yeah, this is exactly right. It's like if I could read verbatim a little bit. He's a desperately touch-starved, 5.5-foot tall human hawk moth. So sue him if he wanted the pretty boy who was tenderly holding his thigh to keep blushing like that.
Oh.
So carrying on. Turns
funny.
out Zuko's hungry. Of course, he's got the whole proboscis thing, not like a mouth, so he can't really chew solid foods. So he's basically got to drink any calorie-dense liquid, so like smoothies, juice, sports drinks, that sort of thing. Turns out that the only thing Sokka's got is off-brand Coke in his car, and it tastes absolutely disgusting.
Forgive me for making 2 Louis Theroux references in a single episode, but I'm just remembering that Do You Want Some Lucasade? See? Just picturing Sokka to say, do you want some Lucasade, injured Mothman?
Sokka does like a whole thing. He sits Zuko on the tailgate of his truck and then wanders up with a soda can. Allow me to present the evening's hors d'oeuvre, and cracks the. I don't know how to say that French word, but yeah, cracks the soda can and holds it out to him.
The evening's hors d'oeuvre.
Hors d'oeuvre, that's the one. Yeah.
Northern culture.
Northern culture.
It's alright. I wouldn't be able to read the word if I hadn't come across it before either.
Reading is hard.
Because in English, it looks like Hors de
It does,
Oeuvre.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, horse to overs. Just before I leave it here, that was basically a summary of the first part of the fic. A few observations. It turns out that Sokka gets Zuko home. He can't really sit in the truck without crushing his wings and damaging them further. So basically what they've had to do is had to lay down on his stomach in the bed of the pickup truck and have a tarpaulin tied over the top of him.
Oh.
And of course, Sokka pulls over into a petrol station to get him some like sports drink or juice or whatever. I'd just like you to imagine being a cashier in that kind of petrol station. It's late at night. You see some guy come in, buy a load of fruit juices and sports drinks, wander out to his pickup bed, open the pickup bed, and pass them to whatever's lurking under it.
Yeah, that would be pretty weird.
Yeah. The last thing that I will leave you with is Sokka's getting back in his truck and he hears like a near obscene slurping from under the tarpaulin, which sets a great tone for the next half hour of free-range driving thoughts. What that mouth do indeed.
Oh, we can't have solids. That rules out oral sex.
What?
I don't know, maybe it will be small enough to fit in, I guess.
Oof, poor
We
Sokka.
don't have enough information on this, but like, I'm.
Okay, who wants to ruin their browser history with can moths give head?
So this is
Can Mothman
Yeah,
give
Mothman.
head? Yeah, but he's got like one of the curling tongue things. So technically, he doesn't have a throat.
Yeah.
That
yeah,
he's
he
using.
might be able to lick.
So it depends. It depends if essentially the straw has got a wide
Ooh.
enough width, whether he could just. I'm
I'm
overthinking
not sure I like
this.
where this is going. Yeah.
Yeah, quite possibly. But
We'll have to
I
find
urge you
out.
to go and read it yourself because it is adorable. Like Sokka and Zuko are just so. They meet each other and they are shook. They are like hit instantly. It's like, oh my god, this creature is amazing, and I want to know more about them and do other things as well.
And the other one's shook because he's been hit by a car, but at least his safe is cute.
That's it. Yeah.
Which I think is a great. A couple of years from now, they'll look back and go, ha ha ha.
I'm actually quite sad that.
Tell
Go
them how we met. Well, I was just driving along.
who ran him over.
Yeah.
Christ. I'm actually kind of sad that Mothman Zuko, because it says the Mothman Zuko Cinematic Universe or MCU, and this is the only part in the MCU.
Oh no, where's the rest?
There isn't a rest yet.
Yeah, it sounded like it was going to be like chapter 1 of an ongoing story.
Yeah.
But as of now, I mean, it was last updated
October
October 2020. It's 5,000 words, but I think there could be more.
I would love to see more of this.
Yeah. The interesting thing about this fic is I didn't particularly need to know much about Avatar to enjoy it. It was cute. It was well written. It was, I ship them now, and I barely know who they are.
Completely fair.
Job well
Yeah,
done to
that's
the
it.
author.
And I personally, I'm just curious about the lore implications, as I know I always am. But this implies there's a Mothman Fire Lord out there who's burned his prince son and banished him into the road to be hit by Sokka's truck. And I want to know more. I want to see this family dynamic.
I think it's Zuko's dad that caused him to be missing an antennae.
Yes,
And
it would be.
yeah, and that's why he's so terrible at night landings, and that's why he ended
Yeah.
up in front of.
So Zuko has a big scar on his face in Avatar because his father burned half his face off.
That makes
and
sense.
Banished him into the wilderness,
Yeah,
and he can only come back if he brings back the Avatar
right. I see.
to restore his honor.
That makes sense. I thought it'd be something like that.
It was a bit of a kick in the guts because everyone thought the Avatar had died and disappeared, so he just sent, "Go find the
Yeah.
Yeti."
Yeah,
And he'd come back when he's just
I
like,
will
"Oh,
capture
I won't give
Bigfoot
up
to
till I
restore my
find-"
honor.
yeah. Bring back the
Essentially.
Sasquatch. Oh, poor Zuko.
And then And then not only is it terrible news to find out that the Avatar returns, it also means that your useless son is going to...
Is leading the charge
has
to
actually
find
got a
him.
hope in hell. And you're just like, oh, worst homework ever.
So yeah, thank you, Sifu Hot Dan. I would love to read more of this.
Yeah, if you'd like to do more, please do more, because, I mean, moths are adorable, this is adorable. Yeah, it's a brilliant concept that we'd like to see more of.
In fact...
Yeah, please come back.
Yeah.
We also appreciate science
Yes.
facts.
Yes,
It
more
makes it- oh, it
science
makes
facts
it really
in
cool.
fics,
Yeah.
just in general. That goes for every author.
Yeah, if you scroll down to the notes, there are moth facts. So, yeah.
And I appreciate that greatly. Okay. Coincidentally, a moth has just appeared.
Hey.
Be
I
careful
will
with it.
nurture him.
Yeah, treat it with respect.
I'll treat it with respect.
Don't hit it with
I'll
a
try
car.
not to fall in love. No matter how sexy its voice is.
Yes.
You did start saying thank you in the Dante Bascaro voice, and you're just like, Nanny?
Oh,
Now you're like, oh, I was joking earlier. Mine's changed upon hearing those dulcet tones.
yeah, fair. So, my mind has been changed on Zuko Sokka this week. You heard it here first, I'm only going to say it once.
Okay.
So I've been reading The Problems of Sex Ed During Wartime by anarchycox.
Anarchycox. Oh,
That is
COX.
cox with an X.
Yeah, COX.
It's with an X, not an anarchy cock. That's a very different thing.
It is.
So, the premise. This is the story of Sokka. I mean, it's essentially similar to the plot of Avatar. The only difference is that, as with anyone growing up in a small village without an education system, he has no clue about sex ed.
Well, to be
So he gradually falls in love, but he doesn't know much about it.
to be fair, the sex ed at our school wasn't brilliant either.
Oh, it was grim, but at least we knew a little bit.
This was the thing. I if you'll just indulge me in this brief tangent,
Go on then.
which I'm sure we've done before on the show. British sex education is very much, on no circumstances, don't you ever even think about having sex. But if you do, this is what might...
Here are the diseases you will get if you do.
If you do, this is what might happen, and this is how you survive them.
Exactly.
This is the thing, which I didn't think was particularly conducive or helpful to horny teens, basically.
Exactly.
I'm surprised they didn't show you that, the video.
Are you talking about the video of childbirth?
No, the blur video.
Well, we didn't. I don't know what that is.
The ones where it goes... They ruined that perfectly good song by making it the intro outro, the A to Z of sex, and it's going, talking about the girls who are boys, who like boys, who see girls,
I don't
who see
remember
girls
that
like boys, who see girls like that.
I do remember being shown a childbirth video, and it was traumatic.
Yeah.
Childbirth is
Yeah,
traumatic.
so is watching it.
I think that
Yeah.
was probably the most useful bit, because...
Where do babies come from? Sit down and shut up. Lights go off. Click. That telly gets rolled into the room.
But it was
It didn't
traumatic.
really.
It was
Yes.
extremely traumatic, yes.
Talking of traumatic,
Yeah, my apologies.
Crikey, head
Yeah.
drop.
so I've been reading Problems of Sex Ed During Wartime by anarchycox. That's Cox with an X. Our story begins with Katara in intense pain.
Oh, no.
This is an early days fic for them. They haven't met the Avatar just yet. This is sort of the very beginning.
Do you want to quickly mention that the archive warning is underage?
Sokka is 17. Zuko is almost 18.
Alright, just making it known that if they just see
Oh,
that,
yeah,
they're not gonna go, "Ooh."
Nothing in this is actually underage. I don't. There's discussion of underage people discovering things, but nothing underage happens. Yeah.
Alright, okay.
So, Katara's in pain. She asks Sokka to go get Gran, and Sokka's just like, "What the fuck is going on?" She's woken up in agony. He's gone to talk to Gran. She's like, the moon's blessing has started."
It's not a fucking blessing.
Sokka is like, "What fucking blessing? She's in agony. If this was the moon, I'm gonna
Damn
kill the
right.
moon. How dare it hurt my sister?" And Gran gets him to help prepare some tea, and when he comes back, she explains, "I'm fine, Sokka. I've started my moon cycles," and I quite like the way this is written. I'll just read it because this guy nails how Sokka is written. Great, go moon, all up in there. in cycle with Katara, who, just to make sure, not dying. And yeah, so she's given instructions to change the bandages every 4 hours. Walks Gran Gran home. On the way back, Gran Gran explains exactly what's going on, and Sokka gets too much information.
Oh, I see.
He has learned more about how women's bodies work than he ever wanted to know. Probably knows more than most of the women in the village now, because she explains in detail. And he's just like, oh. Which is a fairly apt representation of how a teenage boy would feel.
Yeah, yeah. On being faced with that information for the first time.
Exactly. So, Gran Gran asks, oh, didn't your dad ever explain stuff like that to you? It's like, he was planning to, but he went to war, so didn't get around to it. Hang on, he did explain something. He explained that because our numbers are small, if you fall in love with a woman, have as many babies as you can. If you fall in love with a man, that's fine, but you should pair up with a group of women, make sure you have some babies.
Oh, I see.
It's your duty to your people.
What the fuck? That's typical Bato, isn't it? Leaving a lot of heavy responsibility on such a young man. Because, like, in the show, like, Sokka's really young, and he's like, oh, you can't come with me to war, but I'm going to leave you as the only person with next to no military experience whatsoever to be in charge of all the women and children in case the Fire Nation, who will outnumber you,
There's
show up.
so much pressure on
and he's
Sokka.
like, man.
Even if he falls in love with a man, you've still got to pump out some babies, because we need to replenish our numbers.
Oh, poor Sokka.
God.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like he's having a very good time.
He doesn't.
No.
Fast forward a little bit.
I should not have drank that fucking coffee. I've just noticed there's a slug in the cat's tail, and she's dipped that tail in my drink. If you don't hear from me, I've got whatever the dogs get when they eat slugs.
Sorry, Grace.
Carry
So
on.
time skip ahead.
It's been
we
fun.
run into Bato, who is kind of like the cool uncle of Sokka's life before he went off to the war. And Sokka there's a whole episode of them sort of bonding and doing man things together, which he didn't get to do with his dad. This just adds a scene that's just like, okay, I need to talk to you away from the women. Can you explain man things to me? Like,
Does he mean
Sokka?
Aang as well?
Aang is away from this. He's walked. It's just him and Bato, just being like, look, I don't know how to be a man. Can you explain some things to me? I've got stuff's going on. Like, I never really learned to shave properly, and sometimes I can feel my bones growing, which is a weird feeling. I just need you to sort of talk me through this stuff. And he's like, okay, yeah, sure. We'll do it tomorrow, first thing. I'll answer anything you want to know.
And then he just fucks off.
Zuko attacks. They never get the opportunity to explain that.
And that.
I'll also note the things he wants to ask about. It's why he's always smelly all the time right now, and why he gets pimples, why he feels swimmy in the head when he's training with Suki, but also why he gets butterflies when he sees that cute boy in the village with the fortune teller. So Sokka's having feelings both ways.
Yeah.
Then we cut much further ahead. We're up to book 3 now. And Zuko has joined the party. And there's a lovely bit of dialogue. He can tell Zuko's frustrated, so he just talks to him. He's like, bro, okay, I know what you need, and you probably know what you need as well. Don't do it until you're 30 paces away from the camp.
I see.
Zuko's like, what? 30 paces away to have a poo? That's stupid. That's way too far. We'll get ambushed. Like, don't be ridiculous. And Zuko's trying like, no, understand. Look, bro, no, you'll understand. 30 paces away. And he's sort of calling him a wimp for not doing... There's a fantastic misunderstanding that I'll probably butcher if I explain the whole thing like this. But I encourage everyone to read it themselves.
I'm guessing that Sokka maybe thinks that he needs to just go and do a poo when, in fact, he needs to have a wank.
Sokka thinks Zuko needs to go 30 paces away, have a wank, clear his frustrations.
I see.
Zuko thinks Sokka is talking about going for a pee, and... Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth about that, and they talk about it, and it's let me find it. Zuko says, it isn't that awkward. Surely you've done it in front of other people before. So I was like, what? No. Who would I do it in front of? There's Aang here, who is 10. There's Katara, who's my sister. And then there's Toph, who's also a child. I wouldn't do it in front of Wait, should I do it in front of Suki? Do girls like that?
No.
Wait, Zuko, you're older than me. Admittedly by like a year, but still. You can teach me. And interestingly, there's a line here. You can teach me, like you're teaching Aang. You're all Sifu Hot Man.
Sifu Hot Man.
You could teach me too. I'm wondering if our other author got their name here.
Possibly.
No, Sifu Hotman is in the show. It's Aang's old Fire Nation slang. For he goes around the Fire Nation, hey, Sifu Hotman, and they're like, wow, that's something my granddad used to say when he was hip and cool.
Okay, well, Sokka's caught up with that slang.
I like that. Sokka.
Yeah, I can't teach you. It's like, well, you can teach me man things, though. It's like, yeah. Well, I lived on a ship with a few years with some sailors. Maybe I know a few things. And
oh my god.
So Sokka goes off for a walk. He's frustrated now. He needs to have that walk. He's going 30 paces away from the camp. Zuko comes with him because he's like, I'm not bothered, and someone needs to watch out for you. And then they get there. Sokka's like, you know what? No, this has killed the mood. And Zuko's like, how'd you kill the mood to pee? And then they kind of clock on. It's like, oh.
You don't want to pee, do you?
You're here to crank one out. And yeah, Zuko does need to pee. Sokka can't really bring himself to crank one out here, because, yeah. And then they head back to the camp and they laugh and they bond.
Oh, that's good.
Chapter 2, there's a rainstorm, and Zuko is... his tent, they gave him the worst tent, because Zuko joined the party recently, and he was kind of an asshole. So his tent ends up breaking, and he's just stood in the rain for a bit. And Sokka's instincts kick in at this point.
Okay.
Because he's lived in the South Pole for a long time, and he knows if you're stood in the cold, you're going to get hypothermia and frostbite and things like that.
Mm.
So he strips off Zuko right away.
Okay.
And dries him down, sort of cuddles him together. They get in the same sleeping bag. Zuko doesn't even have time to explain, look, I'm a firebender. I'm not going to get frostbite. I can just heat my body, bro. The Sokka's just sort of there, cuddling this man naked, and they're going, shit. This is embarrassing. I should leave.
Oh, no.
And, yeah, he's very embarrassed by this situation. But they get talking a bit more, and they get talk about past experiences, relationships. This is when we find out Zuko hooked up with Jet.
Jet?
Oh.
Yeah.
Whoa. It's the bad boy of the series who was like...
Oh,
he was like a really shitty Peter Pan.
And Sokka's unimpressed that he has the same type as Katara. Apparently, Jet isn't a very good kisser. He's got too much tongue. And this confuses Sokka. He's like, tongue? What do you mean?
Kissing with tongues?
And yeah, I don't get it.
He's
yeah.
been a chest boy so far, isn't he?
So Zuko's like, yeah, you've kissed people before. Yeah, I kissed Suki, Yue, with your mouth open. What? No, why would you do that? And I'm sure you can see where this is going. It's like, okay, you're going to have to show me, bro, because I don't get it.
Oh, they're going to practice kissing.
Yeah, it's very cute.
What, naked
in the sleeping bag, kissing.
Bag.
And then Sokka's like, hey, could you try biting me? I saw Bazo bite a girl once. She seemed to like it. And they practice that a bit as well. And this goes on for a few nights.
They're trying things out.
They're trying things out together. And yeah, I'm skimming over a lot of detail, incidentally. I encourage everyone to read this themselves. It's quite dialogue heavy.
Yeah.
And I don't want to just read it verbatim. They get into this habit, practicing lots of different things. They eventually move on to hands as well. And there's a lovely bit of dialogue at the start of chapter 3 where it's like, yeah, oh, you licked it off? That's weird. Well, bro, we don't have any water. What are we going to do? Disgusting. Same time tomorrow? Yeah, go on then. Later on, Katara is talking about, are you sure you guys, we could just buy another tent. You don't need to share a tent together. And it's like, it's fine. But, we don't trust him. Then Toph interjects.
They know what's going on.
Of course. No.
Sokka mentions the word boners in front of Toph, and Katara's like, don't say boners in front of Toph. And Sokka's like, she's heard enough by now. And Toph goes, yeah, Katara, I'm not a baby. Besides, hearing the word boner isn't as bad as hearing Sokka and Zuko kiss and Zuko bites him. Silence throughout the camp. What?
Shit.
Look, Katara, look, you have to understand. How dare you bite my brother? Like, she thinks it's, like, biting as in, like, bullying him and things like that.
Yeah, like aggression.
Yeah. Sokka tries to defend Zuko.
This is
Yeah.
such a chaotic, like, fucking scenario. You've got the 10-year-old who's got Echo.
She can
like,
feel things through the floor, so she knows what's going on.
Fucking hell.
He bites me because I like it and my boyfriend wants to make me happy. That's what good boyfriends do. And then everyone goes, boyfriend, including Zuko, because this is news to him as well.
Oh no, he's so oblivious.
Oh my god. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so awkward.
Like, the whole thing is just,
I mean, he is a pretty oblivious guy.
So there's a lot of
It's all Zuko.
there's a lot of lovely discussion here. But eventually, yeah, they become like official pairs. They go to rescue Suki as well, which is part of the show. Explains everything to Suki. She's not too bothered because there's a girl in the Kyoshi Warriors that she likes. So that. Oh, they also rescue his dad. There's a really funny bit here. Let me talk about that briefly. Sokka finally gets to talk to his dad about. They have the guy talk that Sokka's always been wanting. Let me find it. And this is the advice his dad gives him. It's great. Fall in love. Follow your heart. Just don't do anything that can get your partner pregnant. A warrior like them would find it unbearable to be sidelined in the big fight that is coming, and they would resent the child for it.
Really?
That's his advice. He thinks Sokka is still into Suki.
Ah, right.
Sokka is just like...
Plot twist, he doesn't realise it.
Oh, he's going to be worried about Empress.
No, sorry,
Grace,
carry on.
That's not
sorry.
the plot twist. That's exactly what happens. Sokka comes up to Zuko.
Oh, his dad's an idiot.
My dad just told me not to get you pregnant. I didn't know I could get you pregnant. How do I get you pregnant? Sokka, you can't get me pregnant. I'm a boy.
Oh, no.
Wait, what? We don't know that. Maybe, look, your dick is different. Maybe your insides are too. Sokka, my dick is different because it's custom to cut the foreskin off nobility. Yeah. What? I don't know. Zuko frowns, like, wait. Sokka, wait, you're having a thought. What's going on? Well, on the ship, I overheard men talking about pulling out, so the other guy wouldn't have to deal with the consequences.
Oh, God.
No, but that's insane. That's insane. I don't have a moon cycle. No moon cycle, no baby. Maybe it's seasonal? Like with animals. No, because then you'd bleed once or twice a year. The only time there's ever been blood was when a bird bit my ass. Huh, that's where that scar comes from. So, yeah, they think about this, and they're like, wait, how do guys have sex? We know hands are great, and we'll move over to mouth soon enough, but maybe... Oh.
Yeah. The penny drops.
I don't know how I feel about that. Neither do I. Well, we're avoiding a pregnancy anyway.
This is painful.
This dialogue's fantastic. This is exactly how two teenage boys would work through this.
Beautifully written, but I am just reading it with, like, my hands on my face peeking through my fingers. Just like, my God.
That's when they realise Sokka's dad starts talking to Suki about welcome to the family, and then they figure it out in the end.
Oh, dear.
Bless him.
They also, skipping to chapter 4, they also figure out in the end that Sokka's dad, his name's escaped me briefly, Hakoda and Bato are also an item. I won't go into too much detail on this, but they sort of discuss things, and then they realize, oh wait, when did our parents have sex? Oh, when we were kicked out to go to our gran in the afternoon. Oh shit. Wait, what was happening in Dad and Bato's afternoon meetings? And that's sort of how it clicks with them, that they paired off in the end
They
as
know
well.
they're plowing now.
Which eventually leads to a confrontation from Sokka. Sokka confronts Bato. He takes him out. We have to have this talk. By the way, this is by the end now. They've defeated the Fire Lord. So they've gone back to the Water Tribe. Takes them away. Hakoda's like, look, it's not that I don't cherish the memory. Dad, shut up. Bato, get dressed. You're coming with me. We're going fishing.
Oh my
I
god.
was like, are you threatening me to protect your dad's honor? Shut up, move it. Okay.
Oh my god.
Sokka, I love your father very much, and I swear, yeah, don't care. Seriously, how does a dick go up the butt? It's gross. How does it fit? What do you do? Also, how do you stop choking when you suck a dick? At this point, Bato tries to jump into the sea. He doesn't want to deal with these questions.
Well, would you?
No, I completely understand. I, too, at the South Pole, would jump into the ocean rather than answer this to Sokka, the son of the bloke I'm into.
Oh, no.
And, yeah, they talk things over in the end, and they say, look, the reason you don't need a man-to-man talk, you're already a man, Sokka. You've turned out all right.
Cop out.
Yeah, it's turned out surprisingly wholesome. Sokka eventually moves in with Zuko. They get married. There's a scene at the very end, which is just some very minor dialogue. It kind of goes like this. Weird. I know, but good? Yeah, I think it's good. I think. Let me know if that changes. I will. Keeps going like that. And the final line of this fic. Bato burned the very formal and polite thank you letter the Fire Lord sent him.
Oh god.
Yep.
Yeah. I really liked how that was written.
Just slid in there. Oh, by the way.
Just leave it all to his imagination, and then the Fire Lord personally thanks him for explaining how this worked.
Fucking hell.
So yeah, that's the problems of sex ed during wartime.
That was good fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I skipped over a lot of it, if I'm honest. But it's all more or less the same style of thing, of just them trying to work out how different things are supposed to work.
Yeah.
I also skipped some delightful dialogue of the one bit of sex education that Uncle Iroh gives Zuko.
Oh, that would have been...
I'd have thought he'd give some actual advice.
No, the advice is just... Oh, I found it. It's just, be gentle, listen to your partner's heart, and let your souls move together in harmony.
Yeah, you're right. That is something you'd say if you wanted to be vague as fuck.
Yeah, very vague. Good in principle.
But means nothing. Yeah.
Wholesome, but useless.
Doesn't really help Zuko with like what to do. So yeah, thoroughly recommend this. I also recommend by anarchycox, because I read 2 of their fics. There is a second one that I read that I was considering to cover, called... Bear with me. Oh, they've written a lot of Avatar stuff.
I guess they found the niche.
The other one was called There Are No Late Fees When the Library Sinks into the Desert.
Okay.
So, there is an ancient library in the Avatar universe run by a owl spirit.
Tong.
When it's collapsing, Sokka takes some scrolls that he thinks... There's a section he's not allowed in because he's 16, and he thinks that must mean it's because it's very important stuff. So, as the library collapses, he grabs a couple scrolls from that section, and when he opens it up, they are not as important as he thought they were.
It's just erotica, isn't it?
It's all porn, yeah.
Yeah.
The chapters are called Sokka Steals the Porn, Chapter 2, Sokka Hides the Porn, and Chapter 3, Sokka Shares the Porn.
I see.
That's also a Sokka Zuko fic. Highly recommend.
Brilliant.
And yeah, I'll leave that there. Thank you, anarchycox. I had a blast reading this. I'd had a thought earlier. It's not super relevant right now, but you know what other popular animated series formed a lot for our childhoods?
X-Men.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I
Oh.
didn't, to be fair. I mean, I knew of it, but like the whole superhero shit, I wasn't particularly interested in.
Never mind then.
I mean, we can still do it. I know what it is, and
Okay, no, I'll put it in the fridge for another. It's one to do eventually because there's a lot of shipping potential in there.
Why does Magneto not wear purple anymore?
I don't know.
The days of fuchsia pattern.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
hey!
Get out!
Well done.
Thank you.
You've let me down.
I have pulled you up out of the abyss.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of,
Well,
here's...
why don't you take us home?
Yeah.
What have you been reading, Grace?
I have been reading... I can't
Read-o.
even say my first sentence correctly. Going well. I have been reading
Off to a strong
Zuko,
start.
Zuko the Blue Spirit by preciousbunnynoiz. And it's got plenty of Phileas and Ferb references, crack crossovers, crack treated seriously, fluff, silly, attempt at humour. Azula and Zuko have a good relationship, and Zuko doesn't have a scar. And I know what you're thinking. Why? Well, there's reasons, and it comes up later.
Okay.
I have not seen any of Phineas and Ferb.
Neither have I.
Okay. Apologies, Precious Bunny Noise. Some of these will be wasted on us.
I've seen some.
I reckon they'll have selected the good bits.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen literally one scene of Phineas and Ferb, and that was when they got the guys from Top Gear to make a cameo.
Wow.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. That's literally it. There's like a car racing scene in there, the commentators, Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, and
Fuck's
James
sake.
May.
Got you.
So, a quick summary. Zuko works at his uncle's tea shop, but also works as an agent for OWCA, his uncle's secret agency. He is the nemesis of Sokka's... What?
Coffee Shop AU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean,
secret agency
it's not an AU, it's canon.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, I meant tea shop AU.
Yeah.
Yeah. In book 2, they open a tea shop.
Yeah. So he is the nemesis of Sokka, a ridiculous guy who is ridiculously hot, but also doesn't recognise Zuko, even though he is a tea shop regular. It is very frustrating.
Yeah, sounds it.
So, alright, it starts. Zuko! Sokka smiles brightly. And he sort of like, he rolls up, he's dressed like a pharmacist. And Zuko thinks, even though he dresses like a pharmacist, it's quite cute. Hey Sokka, do you want the usual? And he gives him like this disgusting like milk tea with cactus juice pearls in it.
Oh, that doesn't sound very good.
Yeah. I suppose it's a boba. I mean, Water Tribe food is notably horrific. Absolutely, I have big plans today. I just finished my latest innator, Sokka says with a grin. It was only years of experience that kept Zuko from visibly twitching. Are you sure you should be talking about your evil scientist plans with just anyone? Zuko actually did every time, hoping to get a bead on whether or not Sokka would keep up the charade. Oh, you know you're not just anyone, Zuko, Sokka scoffed. And Zuko's hopes were raised. Oh, you're my favourite tea shop server, finger guns.
Oh.
And Zuko's like, So, Zuko's working in a tea shop to cover that he is a secret agent assigned to stop evil scientist Sokka. Sokka has no clue that tea shop Zuko is also the secret agent Blue Spirit.
Okay.
Even though they've known each other forever. To clarify, Sokka is like Gru from Minions in the way he doesn't hide that he's an evil scientist. He's like more like the local evil scientist, I guess. So I get the impression that everyone kind of knows he's up to no good, but no one knows exactly what he's going to do next.
Yeah, it's just his thing.
He's not actually evil. He's like Team Rocket evil.
Yeah, exactly. And so Innator is just like whatever the fuck it is, Innator. So like Meltonator, Heatinator, Doominator. So yeah, he's always coming up with these inventions with, and you know, people have got to like keep an eye on him. Like, what the fuck is he? How is he going to be a menace to society this time? You know.
I understand.
Yeah.
So Sokka leaves, and Zuko just sighs and looks at Azula like, and she's like, yeah, I know the drill. Go on your date. It's not a date. It's an assignment. Right, keep telling yourself that, you know. Zuko presses a button in the wall, puts his mask on, shoots through a tube, lands up in a chair, Iroh on the big screen. Zuko, we have reports. Sokka completing another innator. Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, get to work.
Nice.
You know,
I feel like we need more shooting people through tubes hidden behind a wall in fiction.
Yeah, it's so...
Because it's really gone out of style, and
bring it back.
that's a shame. Bring back tubes.
It's so Thunderbirds. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
I like how there's a secret agency doing a whole research team into Sokka's shenanigans, and Sokka just comes up to
He just
the
tells
agent
people.
and just tells him, yo, I'm doing this week, and he's just like, shit up.
Yeah, feel bad for that poor research analyst who has spent time
Like,
sort of bugging this man's apartment, investigating through intel, only for him to just tell them.
Yeah.
That sucks.
So it gets funnier, like. So Zuko flies off to Sokka's apartment building and confronts Sokka, but his face isn't covered by the mask, so he hasn't got his blue spirit mask on. It's sort of like half on.
For fuck's sake.
And he's like, Zuko? And Zuko looks up at Sokka, who's looking at him with confusion. And then he realises his mask wasn't on because he needed better vision while flying the thing.
Oh,
so
no.
very slowly, he just slips the blue mask back on, and Sokka immediately gasps.
Zuko, the blue spirit.
And Zuko's looking at him like, what? Did he not realise? He shook it off and didn't say anything, and
that's
they just
fantastic.
get in. He's about to get into a fight, and suddenly this cage just falls on him, and Sokka's like, you're trapped, Zuko, the blue spirit. Sokka crowed with delight, waving a newspaper in his face, and then Sokka just starts monologuing like a typical villain. It's very funny. I'll leave it for the audience.
He would
to
though,
read.
wouldn't
yeah,
he?
Exactly. It's him all over, getting into the fling of it. Eventually, Zuko's just like, fuck this, and breaks out of the cage to have a fight. Right? Zuko thinks how he misses sparring with him like they used to at the gym, before Sokka became an evil scientist. And, he said during the fight he sends Sokka flying into the self-destruct button that for some reason he put on his own invention before making his escape. Right?
Oh, he's an old school villain.
He's he's the kind of villain you like. That's exactly it. So
he's got standards.
Exactly. Later, back at the tea shop, we get some fun dialogue between Azula and Zuko. It's like, I don't get it, Zuko said, letting his forehead hit the table. That only you get to skip out to work to flirt with the nemesis? Yes, I don't understand it either. It's like, you could work for OWCA too. You just have to let your villain dues lapse. Azula gasped loudly, a hand on her chest. I am a lesbian. Do you know how much pussy I would lose out on if I let my dues lapse? Do you? Spirit Azula. All of it, Zuko. I would lose out on all the pussy in Ba Sing Se.
I mean, there were a lot of female villains in 2000s cartoons.
Yeah.
I'm thinking specifically of Shigo from Kim Possible here.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
And also Azula, who I think have the same voice actress.
I think, right,
come to think of it.
To put, to spill some tea on, 2000s era villains, you could only get away with gay or trans characters if they were the villain in TV shows, which is a shit look, let's be real.
It is, yeah.
Oh, they're evil. They probably want to fuck people who are the same gender as them. Go straight. Look, let's not get into it. Fuck
That's
that
a fair point.
era.
Yeah.
Touche.
Minus Velba and Daphne.
Oh
They
yeah,
weren't
I mean,
only people that weren't villains.
I think Velma is out now as well,
Oh, alright, sure.
canonically. Ooh, you know who else came out recently?
Oh.
Lady Dimitrescu.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah, the authors have confirmed, yes. I mean, it was kind of obvious.
yeah, she lives in a
but
house full of women,
only women, and really hates when men show up. Yeah, the writing was on the wall, but the writers have confirmed
Yeah.
That's
that.
so
Yeah.
She's
funny.
definitely
All the
gay.
male fans who bought the body pillows are going to have to,
I mean,
put her in the
yeah.
wardrobe out of respect.
It's a shame, because I ship her with Dante from Devil May Cry.
Alright, look, we're drifting.
Sorry,
we're
yeah,
drifting.
sorry. Cool.
Right.
Any excuse to talk about the big mansion lady.
Stop.
We're leaving this
And
now.
so it's like, Suki gets plenty of pussy and she's not a villain. Suki can bench press any lesbian who asks. She doesn't need a villain card. And Razula just kicks him. Fucking ow.
I mean, fair.
Yeah.
It's nice to see them getting along, isn't it?
Yeah.
So a few days pass and it all just comes together. It's fantastic. Tara shows up with Suki, Aang, and Toph, and they go over to meet with Sokka. Sokka did not realise. He thought he was only meeting up with Katara. But yeah, the gang has been invited, and Katara's like, "Okay, Sokka, you need to stop." He's like, "Stop what?" all this, waving her hands about the whole evil scientist shtick. It's not a shtick. Look, I don't understand why you're doing this, but it has to stop. You spend all your time holed up in your apartment building useless crap when I know you could be doing more with your life. And Zuko, like, moves to clean a nearby table to, like, eavesdrop. And, like, he's listening to Katara and he's just nodding, like, yeah, man. Like, Sokka can build really good shit, but he's just make stuff to be a menace, and it's sad enough. Look, I know you really look up to the mechanist, but when he was your mentor, but just because he made some of his best work while he was an evil scientist doesn't mean you have to go through that phase as well. It's not just about that. Besides, I'm evil. I have a tragic backstory. What tragic backstories?
Oh, I like this. Yeah.
My first girlfriend left me for the moon. You ain't left you to focus on training to be a fucking astronaut, and you were supportive of that at the time. You bought her a shirt with a moon pun on it. Well, how about the fact I was unfairly banished from the South Pole? You blew up Town Hall. I was adopted by a family of saber-mouthed lions. That was for immigration purposes. You were on a terrorist list. And Zuko's just, like, listening to this, like, what? What? And you love Fufu Cuddly Poops. And Zuko's just, like, having a small crisis in the car, like, what the fuck? And Zuko's like, alright, I can't. And he's like, why not? It's my nemesis. What will Zuko the Blue Spirit say? And Zuko's just like, fuck protocol, fuck the secret agent bullshit, and he just rolls up and he's like, okay, shut the fuck up, Sokka. And he's like, Zuko? And he looks hurt and
he has to put the mask.
He puts the mask on. Zuko the Blue Spirit. He takes the mask off and then puts it back on again. You know, yes, I'm fucking Zuko the Blue Spirit. I've always been Zuko from the tea shop and Zuko the Blue Spirit, which means you must have known. And Sokka's just staring at him. He's like, how was I supposed to know? We have the same face. Like, he just didn't get the moment, like, he put the mask on, he became like a different person to him.
Oh, no. He's face blind.
He is face blind. He's like, and he tells him that I'm face blind. I can only recognise people by distinguishing features like Katara's hair loopies. And Zuko's backed off. He's like, okay, fair enough. But the name wasn't a clue. Zuko's a very common name. Like, how many Zukos could you possibly know? 6. I know 6 Zukos.
Oh, it's all the same people.
There's Zuko from the gym, also me. Zuko from Pandio, me. Zuko from me. Zuko from high school, also me. They're all me. I am all the Zukos. And he slams his hand on the table. Not Zuko from middle school. Yes, Zuko from middle school. We built a volcano together in 8th grade. Oh, it's so cute. And it's just like, and he's like, oh, my spirits. You're like 5 of my tragic backstories because I kept failing to ask you out. Oh, my spirits. And Zuko's like, what? And he's like, yeah, he's had a crush on every iteration he's come across.
Oh, no.
You. I knew he was face blind, but I thought he'd at least made the connection between all the Zukos. But you do change your hair a lot. That's probably why he got confused. You need a distinctive feature. He's like, oh. And then Azula just materialises and puts like a blossom hair clip on the side of his face. So it's like, there you are. Now you can recognise him. Go now. Take my gay disaster of a brother out on a date, Sokka, before I have to put him down out of pity.
That's Azula. Yeah.
Duh, 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 duh. And so it's like, oh, well, would you be interested in going out to do an activity together? And Zuko's like, not while you're evil, you know. I don't date villains. And it's like, all right, but you're not gonna. If I go good, you're not gonna get a different nemesis, are you? And it's like, no, I'll stick making tea. And it's like, oh, all right, that's good. Like, I guess I'm good. I guess I'm good now. I'm not evil now. And he's like, all right, good. Boom, crime solved. And they hold hands, and Azula is still there and smacks Zuko in the back of the head with a tray. And Finn, a fantastically
Yeah.
cute fic.
Yeah, that was
It was
adorable.
so fun to read. I wanted to read out more, but I felt the audience should read a lot of it themselves.
Everyone should go read this in their
Admittedly,
own time.
I read out a lot. I did read out a lot because I couldn't hold myself back. But I'm left feeling like this fic deserves to be expanded. Like, I would love to see more of the childhood shenanigans and all the ridiculous shit leading up to the fic's conclusion. If I had money, I'd get it animated and I'd be commissioned, like, the author to write more of this. Make a whole, 12-episode comedy drama of this AU. But yes, a big thank you to PreciousBunnyNoiz, and it was a pleasure to read. Please read it. Audience, read it. Go. Be free. Read it.
Go read it now.
Do it.
Before bed.
I dare
Incidentally,
you.
Grace,
Double dare you. Yeah?
precioussbunnynoiz writes a lot of Untamed.
Oh, yes. I did a quick look into some of the authors, and I had a look, and I was like, they do other things, so I'll probably be revisiting when our topics align.
They also do Dirt Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, which is
Ooh.
That's
one of
rare.
our favourite shows.
Yes.
They write a lot of ships of Todd and Dirk, which, yeah,
Yes. The
sensible decision.
The superior ship,
Oh, well,
as opposed to the canon.
For sure.
I'm guessing we're going to have that Dirk Gently argument at some point in the future.
One day.
Yeah.
Yes. That's for another time. Another time.
Yeah. But that's a story for another time. In the meantime, thank you, preciousSbunnynoiz. This is a treat. I've not only been convinced on Sokka Zuko today, I think I'm going to have to watch Phineas and Ferb if it's like this.
It kind of
I
is.
feel like
think.
the dynamic has been, from my very tiny knowledge of Phineas and Ferb, I think it's been like the dynamic between Dr. Doofenshmirtz and the platypus.
Oh,
Perry the
the
platypus?
platypus, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because I think Perry the platypus is the secret agent who is a platypus.
Oh.
He
And
is,
this
yeah.
this mad scientist doesn't realise that when Perry takes his hat off or something, he's no longer the secret agent, he's just a platypus. I feel like that's that.
So today we've had both Zuko as a moth and Zuko as a platypus.
Yes.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he's got range.
I think I'm going to have to start shopping scars onto different animals for today's thumbnail.
No.
Yes.
I think just just like that moth meme in the background would be perfectly adequate. See, I think that in that moth one, Zuko's lying about having a shit landing. He's perfectly fine. It's just that he saw the headlamps on full
He
beam
just
and
wanted-
went,
oh,
"Oh
no."
yes."
Yes.
Oh, lamp.
Oh, lamp. And they just got embarrassed afterwards. They're like, "Nah, your vision's fucked."
Oh, I hope so. So what have we learned today?
Everything there is to know about hawk moths.
We
Yeah,
learned a lot about moths.
that's it.
Yeah.
I've learned what I already knew, which is moths are adorable.
The Shipping Forecast Council has unanimously
decreed
decided
moths.
on Zucker as our ship,
Yeah.
as opposed to
Yeah.
anyone else in the whole
Mm.
fucking series. By
I mean,
accident.
if we include Korra, I'm still a devout Korrasami
And yet
shipper.
you didn't pick it for today.
I figured we're mostly focusing on Last Airbender, so I may as well stick to Last Airbender.
I mean,
And also, I bring a lot of girl stuff, so I figured I'd mix things up a bit.
yeah, fair enough.
Just say it's the superior ship, bro. Just give in to the dark side.
It's on par with Korrasami.
Oh, that's big
High praise
for you.
indeed,
That's
yes.
big praise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But most of that is down to the very talented writers who have nailed both how Sokka behaves in the show and how Zuko behaves in the show.
Definitely. Yeah, all of these, they all stayed in character regardless whether they turned into moths, got hit by cars, was a secret agent and an evil scientist. And I suppose in their
figuring out
own
their sex ed.
setting with a slightly different... yeah,
It's a slightly
different
more
leeway-
realistic version
leeway on the
of the
story.
setting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Realistic to awkward teens.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
mine. Yeah. Nick, have you been persuaded to watch Avatar?
It does look interesting, and yeah, me and Sophie do need something else to watch of an evening. So who knows? I've got 2 weeks off. Maybe I'll watch it.
Yeah.
You're
It's
going
worth
to
a
be
go.
disappointed to find that there isn't
No one's
actually...
gay.
I was gonna say no one's a giant moth.
Yeah, no,
That too.
no one's gay, and Zuko isn't a moth.
Exactly.
Are there any moth spirits? There's a big owl.
There is a big owl.
There's a fox. Several foxes.
I'm blanking on any of the.
There's a centipede.
Actually, there's a lot of interesting creatures in that. To be fair,
There
like
are.
you never know. There
You'll
may have been a
notice the
moth we've
tag,
just not noticed.
You'll notice the tag Zuko is an awkward turtle duck.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's everywhere. It's fantastic.
Yeah. First of all, it is everywhere, and it is fantastic. I'm glad the fandom have settled on that. But also, turtle ducks are a thing. It's just like a duck with like a tortoise shell on the back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're very sweet.
I'm a duck.
Like, most of the animals are kind of hybrids of different creatures.
Right, I see.
Yeah, like you get eel hounds and
Eelhounds.
apart from the shershu.
The shershu is like a giant anteater, right?
It is yeah, but like the name usually gives it away. I don't know what a shur is, and I don't know what a shoe is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There was a great meme like when Legend of Korra was coming out. One of the characters is trained by his father to bloodbend,
Okay.
and there's a flashback where he's training on wolves. And everyone's just like, what? You don't mean turtle wolves or lion wolves? No, just wolves. What? My God.
Oh yeah, and the bear. And it's like, oh, and what kind of bear? Wolf bear? Platypus bear? No, it just
bear.
says bear.
Just bear.
Oh.
What kind of
What the
weird idea is that?
What kind of weird place is this?
Mm.
Yeah. And it is just a bear, and everyone's just like, fucking hell.
How normal.
Disappointed. Disappointingly normal.
Well, no, it's not
Exactly.
normal for them. I suppose it's like the ultimate exotic animal where it's just one thing.
A purebred animal.
It's just a bear.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. We've learned a lot today. Anything else we want to say before we wrap up?
Oh, I don't know.
You can give us money if you like.
You can give us money if you want to.
Yeah,
That's so
You can-
shameless. Yeah, anything you want to say? Yeah, give us money if you like.
Yeah,
all right.
give us
fucking
cash.
hell.
give us cash if you want. You don't have to. But if you do, you get to join our Discord and talk to us.
Yeah, hang out with us.
Hang out with us. See the weird shit that we post. Get episodes early.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yes, because basically James, our editor, as well as sort of cat wrangler of the show, will just post them as soon as he's finished them on the Discord.
Exactly. They go in a special channel in there. And
Yeah, it can be anything from...
you can enjoy it as when as you want to.
That's it. You can. It basically ranges from a few hours to a few days early. So
It depends how busy we are.
yes, it does.
And there's been a lot of chaos in our lives lately. But generally I get it like a week early.
Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for the shameless plug. Obviously, no obligation to support us if you don't want to.
No.
We know money is tight.
And so long as we're making you happy, then we
Exactly.
think that's payment enough.
Mm-hmm. I guess we should call it that then. I'd like to announce what we're doing next. I'm actually not sure yet. We're going to have to sit down and figure that out. So, until then, we hope to see you in 2 weeks. And I'm out of ideas. Good night. Oh, no, one more shameless plug. If you want, we have another show called Fanfics and Chill. We do sort of a dramatic reading thing, just sort of take a short fic, do some silly voices, that kind of thing.
Well,
it's a lot of
we
fun.
say dramatic reading. It's more of a melodramatic reading.
It's turbo dramatic.
Yes. Giga-dramatic.
If you have any fics you'd like us to read on that, and either you are an author or you know an author who'd like us to read them, send them in, and we'll do just that.
And tell us how you'd like them to be read.
And tell us how you'd like them to be read. We can be
Like-
serious
'Cause
sometimes.
we will default into being a bunch of idiots if
Yes.
you don't.
There is a reason we default into being a bunch of idiots. It's 'cause we
Natural
are.
status.
yeah, that's it. Our natural baseline
Exactly.
is idiot.
Low IQ.
Exactly. And on that note, good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I'm going to get that moth out of my house now. He's clearly confused by the lights. Okay. Good night.